So in today's video, we're going to be checking out the Driftcon Grand Prix 2021 Drift Pack. Now DCGP is a competition drift series using Assetto Corsa as their competition base. And yeah, it's been a championship's been around for a while now. It's the first championship that I've ever competed in Assetto Corsa. Now because of that, I kind of know the DCGP cars quite well. I've done pretty much every single season. And well, I am the 2020 DCGP champion. I haven't been competing in DCGP 2021 this year. However, saying that, I have driven their new variation of their cars a long while back, and I kind of want to share to you guys my thoughts on them and kind of show some tips and tricks that might help you guys through kind of learn them. So without further ado, let's hop into this S15 that we have right here. Just a quick overview on it. As you can see, origin Rajan style body kit, but it looks, I think the quality of this particular car is a little bit low, super low poly, I suppose, low detail should I say. But it is quite easy on the PC, which is always a bonus. Competitions, you kind of want your PC to be at its highest, best performance, and some mods are super demanding, which kind of ruins the competition experience for a lot of people. Kind of makes it like a pay to win almost, where whilst DCGP do use the same geometry across all of their cars, it does allow it for anyone to kind of win any of the events with any of the cars. It's not like, oh, you know, there's one car you have to choose, because if you don't pick this car, you don't win it. So it does open up the bag, and it does allow beginners and really competitive drivers to have the equal chance of winning an event. So like I said, I was the ex DCGP champion of a couple of seasons ago, maybe 2020. It was, you know, not that long ago. Very competitive season that was, and to be honest, those cars, they weren't the most enjoyable. So first run in the car here, initiating. We're on the Bikernicki race circuit. Oh, got very little grip right now. Tires need a bit of a warm up. Now I will say these cars feel really responsive. Well, this S15 feels, as we crash. Yeah, this S15 out of the box feels pretty responsive. I have to say, the older cars, you know, the season that I won DCGP, which would have been last year, the cars weren't really that responsive in my eyes. They were quite numb. I will say these newer cars are definitely much better in that regard, especially this S15 anyway. So you kind of fall off the track here. Yeah, we're struggling for grip right now. I think we need a bit more grip in these cars. Now, I don't know, do DCGP use tire warmers on their server? They used to run tire warmers, which not many competitions do anymore. So because of that, we're going to up the tire pressure. That's a little trick for you guys. If you're struggling for grip out of the box, actually setting your tire pressures up correctly by increasing them helps a lot, in my opinion. We will be doing a setup video in the future, folks, so don't you worry about that. But for right now, let's check out these cars. So I picked the S15 first because it is the car that I probably have the most experience with in general. S chassis, probably the all-round best car to pick up and drift, to be honest, guys. Their wheelbase is pretty ideal, and you know, they're just a proven drift car, you know. And it's kind of shown in this particular S chassis right here. You know, we've got pretty decent speed. The car feels pretty decent. Steering from, you know, going from left to right in the transition feels pretty responsive, which is kind of important on this particular track, which is high speed. The Bikernicki Riga race circuit is very demanding on the precision of a driver to be able to maximize the car and to be able to get the track correct. And so this S15 DCGP version of the S15 feels really good on it. So I think for this type of car, I think, oh, hit the wall again. For this particular car, I would say it's probably a decent all-rounder. That's generally what, I think that's generally why this chassis is so good. It's just that it's a very good all-round drift car. Like, if you want a car that's generally quite good, you know, just on any track really, the S chassis, the wheelbase is just perfect in general. So yeah, that's kind of where I put this car. We will look at some other cars and what I feel would suit other maybe styles of driving, or maybe might suit other people's equipment. So we'll probably hop into one of those cars next. Oh my god, can I even get a lap in? So the next car we hop into here is the 370Z, Nissan 370Z. Yeah, I love these cars. I love Nissan 370Zs. They're probably one of my all-time favorite looking Japanese car. Obviously, it being a more modern car, it kind of helps a lot with looks, right? But yeah, the 370Z, fantastic looking car, definitely one of my favorite. Competed in one of these in VDC in 2020. So yeah, definitely well up there in I suppose my all-time favorite cars. DCGP version is all different, exactly the same geometry as the S15, but the biggest difference with this car, guys, is the wheelbase. Now, I might mention that the geometry is the same, but the wheelbase of the cars are actually accurate, so this car would have a shorter wheelbase than that S15, therefore it will be a little bit more nervous and a little bit harder to drive on, especially on transition. So a car like this might be more suited to, let's say, more nimble race circuits or drift tracks, so essentially this car would transition much quicker. That would require a better steering wheel and probably a driver that is more suited to driving the car and being, predicting what the car is going to do. So I'm going to show you what I mean. So we've hopped into the cockpit for this particular car. I'm not great with going through chicanes or cockpit, guys, I'll be honest. So we'll flick in here. We're on the DCGP version of Okayama. And one of the things I noticed quickly, like I said, is the transition speed. This car transitions a little bit quicker than that of the S15. So that means you require yourself as a driver to be kind of on the ball and be kind of expecting what you might not be, used to, right? Now this car has a VR38. Oh, the wall's disappeared there. That's weird. Why is the wall disappeared? What? So yeah, like I said, I like the 370Z. Probably one of my favorite cars for sure. This one, drives like the S chassis of the S15. You could probably copy and paste the setup, to be honest, guys. But the important thing is that this one does transition that bit quicker. Obviously, being the shorter wheelbase, like I said, helps a lot with that. So if you have a lower end steering wheel, like maybe like a Logitech, this car might not be suited to your driving style or the driving style that be required. There's supposed to be a wall there, guys. I don't know why it's not there. Now you might be noticing, Alan, why aren't you doing DCGP this season? Well, to simply put it, we've been doing a lot of competition stuff this year. VDC and DMVC. I'm one of the few real-life drivers. Oh, we're gone off track. Oh, fail. Yeah, I'm one of the few drivers that's doing the full, well, I suppose DMVC season this year, or 4 of the 5 rounds. And yeah, I just kind of had not a lot of time to kind of do everything, really. You're doing, every weekend, you're literally doing a competition. And you just kind of get burnt out, to be honest, guys, DCGP is a great little championship, but it being during the week is kind of like my only time to kind of like take a little break and kind of get prepared for the next DMVC or VDC round. So yeah, just kind of not really had the time. I would like to do at least 1 or maybe 2 DCGP events this season, but we'll kind of see how it goes once the whole, VDC and DMVC season ends, which is coming up soon, actually. Okay, so the final car for this pack that we're going to drive is this BMW F82 M2, or M4, my bad, M4, Alan, what the hell? I should really get to learn my BMW, shouldn't I? Anyway, we're in this M4. Now, the reason why I picked this car is it's the biggest car out of the car pack, and just like the 370Z and the S15 we drove earlier, this car has the same geometry, okay? So, I suppose I kind of probably should put some thought processes into why DCGP do this. As you probably guys might know from especially the ADC video I did recently, I'm not the biggest fan of car, I suppose, modders using the same geometry across all of their cars. I prefer to kind of understand the different characteristics between each of the cars and kind of have that little, difference between them. However, with DCGP, they kind of want to give the best opportunity to anyone to be able to compete. And having the same geometry across all of the cars kind of removes that, that meta car that everyone picks, just like maybe in VDC, everyone picks the S chassis, a bit like that, right? So now the reason why I particularly want to drive this car is that it's got the biggest wheelbase. Now the reason why is that the biggest wheelbase generally means that it's slower to transition, it's easier to drive. So for anyone who has maybe a low-end steering wheel like a Logitech or something, this might be the car for you guys to try out and maybe pick up some competition drift cars while you're at it. So let me kind of show you what I mean. So in this video we have been kind of using a few different camera views, and I hope you guys don't mind that or like that. So anyway, oh, what the hell, camera, why is everything disappearing? So as I was saying, Yeah, we've been using a few different camera views in this video, guys, and I hope you guys don't mind that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. A little bit of difference, obviously, does no stray whatsoever. But anyway, back to driving this car. We're on the maze circuit right now. This is a track from last season. Oh, we're crashed. Okay, we're dead. Like I said, this is a track from last season of DCGP. I ended up finishing third in this round, I believe, in the DCGP S13. But this M4 is just a little bit, I suppose, smoother to drift. On the transition, it's just a little bit more predictable, just because of that extra length of the wheelbase, allowing it to just be that little bit easier to drive. So, like I said, anyone with a lower end steering wheel, like of a Logitech or something, this might be the car for you. The slower spin of the Logitech, just because of the lack of power that it generally has, this car would be generally matched quite well to it. Obviously, if someone with a lower end steering wheel tries to use like a 370Z, anyway, as I was saying, someone using a lower end steering wheel like the Logitech on the 370Z might struggle with the transition speed and it, you know, spinning on you when you try to transition. So this car definitely would be more suited to you in that regard. The S chassis will probably be the best balance between both. It's kind of like in the middle between wheelbases. Now, you don't have to use just this car. You have a few other ones too. You've got the E92 Eurofighter, and you've also got the Ford Mustang as well at your disposal when it comes to using these longer wheelbase cars. Well, now, when it comes to the snappier cars such as the 370Z, you can use the RX-7 is another one. And there's probably another car somewhere there that I'm not really thinking off the top of my head. But then, if you want the best of both worlds, you've got the S13 or the 180SX, you've got the S15, you've got the E36, as kind of like your cars of disposal for a best balance of both worlds, of being maybe a little bit easier and a little bit snappier to transition at time. Now, I have to say, guys, this M4 is a lot of fun. Doesn't really suit my driving style. I quite like the snappier feeling of the 370Z, but it is a definitely fun car to drive. Like I mentioned, these cars do use the same geometry across all of them, which, as you guys might know, may not be my little thing, but I respect DCGP and understand the reason why they do it. Now, I do plan on making a setup video, especially in the future for competition cars, but if you guys would like a setup guide on the DCGP cars, make sure to comment down in the comment section down below, and I'll definitely get my hand kind of moving and try and figure out a little guide for you guys to help you out with these cars, to try and maybe get some extra performance, or maybe get them a little bit driving nicer for you. I'll be glad to help you guys out with that, so if that's something you'd like to see, comment down below, and I'll try and get to it. So guys, that's going to end it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was a lot of fun to make. I quite like the DCGP cars. They are a great beginner drift competition car pack. So if you're into doing competitions, or you're kind of new to it, I'd highly recommend trying out these cars and trying to get into the DCGP Championship. They usually run midweek, but they are quite affordable, and yeah, they are quite beginner friendly. As always, make sure to comment down in the section below what you think of the cars. You know, what is your favorite car from the DCGP car pack? I'll be kind of keen to understand your opinions, and you know, did I miss anything in this video? I'll be keen to hear. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Cheers and goodbye.